Today, the Coastal Virginia market update for May 2026 and a little look at the national scene.
From Betsy
and Alan from Coastal Virginia. We just got the report in on what's going on in the marketplace for the month of May in Coastal Virginia. And when you look at it, listings are up a little bit. Now that's to be expected for summertime. They're up about 4.5%. Guess what? People like to move in the summer because
they're waiting for their kids to be out of school and
waiting for kids to be out of school.
Everybody, military moves in the summer.
Sometimes a major reason people are moving are school districts, because we've got some really good school districts here, and people want to live in them. And they want to move when their kids are out of school so they can start the next school year.
Make it easier.
Now, I'm going to give you a little hint. I always thought that was not the best time to move.
We never moved in the summertime.
Because if you move at the very beginning of the summer, guess what? Your kids don't have any new friends yet in the neighborhood. Because unfortunately, it's not like when we were kids when all of you hung out in the yards, rode your bikes, hung out. Nope. They're all in their room,
stay inside,
on social media, doing all that. So sometimes it can be hard to make friends, and then they start school and they don't have friends. Mm-hmm. However, if you ever have the opportunity and you move in, say, February, because I think we moved 3 times in February.
Every time.
That if you move in February, guess what? Your kid is really special when they walk into class, because they're the new kid in class that everybody wants to talk to them. Everybody makes friends. And then a couple of months later, when they're out for summer, they have friends.
Yeah,
just a little tip for you.
Yeah, we do that every time. And when I tell people that, people are always like, that's a brilliant idea. And I'm like,
there you go. Because I think she fought me the first time on it.
I did. I was really ticked off.
She was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, I'm telling you, take it from somebody who moved all the time as a kid and as an adult, that, trust me, that's how you want to do it. So for May, they were up about 4.5% for active listings, because typically they come on the market. Now, pending sales, they were actually up 6%, 5.96%. And what that means is, we're seeing more sales this year for the month of May over the month of May last year. That's year over year, up about 6% as far as pending transactions.
It means people are accepting the interest rates, people.
Accepting
the interest rates.
And when we go to settled sales, this shows how our year has been, though, a little flat and level. The settled sales for the month of May were only up about 1.6%. And so basically, break even. We had the same number of settled sales, but with the number of pending sales going up, the number of inventory going up, I think our year is turning up a little bit as we go into the summer. Mm-hmm. And the one down spot, I would not want to be a builder right now, because new construction sales were down 6.25%. Now, that can be a couple of reasons. There could be less new construction inventory. I'd have to go check that.
That's definitely a big case, because there is no new construction inventory right now. It is killing a girl.
Or sometimes what happens is new construction, typically what happens is new construction, there's about, say, a 20% premium. That's about where it goes for new construction over resale for the same square footage. Sometimes as new construction costs go up, because they are very economically driven on what's going on for the cost of supplies, the cost of labor. Whereas existing homes, that's already all happened and it doesn't come into play. So if that happens and all of a sudden their price starts inching up to 22, 25, 30% more than resale in the same price.
It's definitely getting there.
Guess what happens? People start saying, well, I actually get, although it's not brand new and it's not HGTV perfect, I actually get a better value on resale. And when that happens, it adjusts. Now, here's the great thing about it, though. Builders have a profit margin built in. Do builders like to sit on inventory?
No, heck no.
Never, because it's costing them. They have...
Because they're paying the taxes and everything.
The taxes, they got carry on a note sometimes from the bank. And so what they will do, they will react. So if this continues another month where new construction sales are down, over 5% down from the previous year, I would bet we'll see some price reductions. Although you don't see a lot of price reductions, you see offers. They don't like to Does new construction like to lower the price?
No,
They don't like to
but
piss off their
there's-
previous
but
buyers.
There's definitely some already happening. out
They
there.
what they will do is they will give incentives. They'll give a free upgrade, or they'll give mortgage lending credits, or they'll give closing cost assistance. They'll start to. They rarely lower the price because they already sold some people at a certain price and they never want to
Right.
piss them off. So they'll start giving incentives.
Yeah, people ask me that all the time. Can I get a deal on new construction?
If we see that for another month, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't start to see more and more new construction incentives. And then the last quick fact locally for the numbers for the month of May is the average sales price May over May went up about 1.6%. And so when you look at that, it's not a huge price increase, but it does show that prices have continued to go up in our market. Unlike some markets, specific markets where the prices have come down. I think I heard one place in Arizona, it might have been Phoenix, they were down almost 30%, the average sales price. That's a pretty big hit. So one thing we have here, because we have so much turnover, we get the pretty good price increase. So
All right. Well,
that's the local market.
Right, but my big things that I think are huge are, one question is, what are buyers most concerned about right now? And these are things that really are very interesting. So I don't know if you know what you think buyers are most concerned about, but these are things that were kind of shocking to me because I think that people are thinking along different lines.
Right. Lots of times people think price is what buyers watch the most. Actually, this year, in national survey, one of the things they're least concerned about was actually price. Last year, price was a much bigger factor. This year, though, the economy, mortgage interest rates,
Of course,
and then the amount of
are
inventory.
going to change people, so get over that one and put that at the bottom.
So those three things, the economy, mortgage interest rates, and inventory, all ranked above price importance.
Right, and inventory should be a concern because we're going to have that concern for a very long time, depending on where you live. We're going to have that concern.
We have an inventory issue. And so, as Betsy briefly hit on mortgage rates, here's the thing. We've got some projections. The three main entities that everybody looks at are Fannie Mae, the Mortgage Banker Association, Wells Fargo, sometimes NAR. They're all giving their projections for where interest rates were. Now, if you'd have asked them all in December of last year, they were projecting interest rates to go down this year, somewhere into the lower fives. Guess what? Not going to happen. They've all put out new and updated projections, and every one of them, when you look at them for the rest of 2006 and for first and second quarter of 2007, have the interest rates between 6.1 and 6.3 average of those three entities across the board. So mortgage rates, guess what? They're not going to get any lower. In fact, it is more important that you buy at today's rate and accept the rate today and get in, because you are losing equity. We talked briefly last time on a video about how over a 6-year window, the average buyer gained $128,000 in equity. You will actually be losing more in equity per month than you do in your mortgage payment by not buying.
Absolutely.
So, another thing. What else you want to cover here, Bets?
So, the people talk about inventory continuing to rise. Well, here's the thing. It depends on what state you're in, so I think that is state specific, but
Right.
it's also time of year specific. So yes, we're getting inventory right now, but it is very important to notice that we're getting inventory because everybody dumps inventory in the spring, in the summer,
Right.
and then all of a sudden we'll dry up again. But we're still, if you look at the map, and we're going to the map, we are still negative 34% in inventory for our state.
Right.
I mean, we could be worse.
So, I hate to interrupt our podcast here, but it's really important to us. If you like hearing this information and you want to give us some ideas even, give us a comment and then subscribe and follow us below so that we can keep bringing it to you. Now back to the show.
My girl's going to Connecticut, and if you see the map of Connecticut, they're like -75, I think, or something like that, which is they're number one for horrible.
Yeah. So
number two.
What you have to look at is this is comparing inventory to pre-COVID levels. Keep in mind, COVID was an anomaly that hit the real estate industry and it affected it nationwide. Pre-COVID, so 2019 to today, as Betsy said, Virginia is down 35%, 36%, somewhere in there. But there's 15 states across the country, their inventory is higher. Those are the states that have seen their real estate market slow down some. Our state, we're still rocking and rolling and moving forward. So that's a good thing. So one of the, we're looking at some stats here. Let's see what else we got that is crucial to our market. Sellers. What do sellers think? This was a great question.
Oh, I think so too.
Will you get your asking price for your listing? 80% overall thought they'll get it. And 37% thought they would get more than their asking price. 46% thought they'll get it. 12% thought they're going to get less than their asking price. And 5% basically just said, I don't know. Well, here's what it comes down to.
The real numbers.
What it really comes down to are two factors. A, does the seller, are they willing to listen to a qualified, professional, knowledgeable real estate agent? And do they have a qualified, knowledgeable real estate agent sitting in front of them telling them the information? Because here's what we have to tell you. There's basically three types of real estate agents when it comes to pricing a property. You've got the one, basically they're barely been in the business. They've hardly listed any houses. And to tell you the truth, they just don't know. And if they don't know, they're probably going to succumb to whatever the seller wants them to do. The opposite end of that is sometimes there are highly, highly experienced listing agents, and their technique for getting more listings is to tell the sellers that they will actually get more than they know they ever will. They count on their best skill being in getting price reductions from that seller as the listing moves on. And so
we got one of those in our market.
Yeah.
It's very.
It's now we can tell who they are.
In the top 10.
So what you want to do is you've got those two extremes, highly experienced and uses overpricing as a technique to get more listings into their personal inventory. You've got the highly inexperienced which just don't know. And then you've got the professional agent that comes to the table. They know the market, they know the trends, they know how pricing works, they know how to negotiate, they know what the market will maintain. And quite often, they will price your house slightly below the market to actually increase the interest in it.
Right.
And because that's what it's about. Marketing is about how much interest can we get in a property. And if that is the case, then guess what? Those people end up getting more net for their sellers in the long run than either one of the others. So that's a real important thing about what sellers think about pricing.
Right, because if you overprice your house, the problem is overpricing your house ends up chasing the market down, and you end up with price cut, and losing money.
Fact, we'll talk about that as one of the last slides we'll talk about.
Talk about one more thing on here.
Okay, is that when you look at it, if you overprice and your house sits on the market 14 days, 2 weeks or more, then it tends to get about 5% less than the list price. If it's 15 to 30 days, it gets 6%. If it's 31 to 60 days, 7%. It goes all the way out to if your property ends up sitting 120 days on the market, they end up getting almost 15% less for their house than they thought they would in the beginning.
Actually, we'll save these for a whole nother thing.
Okay, so today, that's a quick update on inventory and what is going on in the marketplace. And what we're going to do is some of these slides were behind us. If any of you want a question about any of them, reach out to us in the future. We'll send them to you. Right?
Yes, but here's the thing. Things that people really, really need to look at in all of this is when we're talking about pricing the house, for example, and I think that is one of the biggest concerns that people have, like when we're talking about all of this, and which does create all of these factors, is pricing the house right, like we were talking about a second
It's
ago,
crucial.
it is crucial because I was actually joking with one of my clients the other day about the price cuts on one of these because it's really, and this is only on a $300 some thousand house where it jokes about, dropping the price. And I'm thinking, you really do. You price that house right from the very beginning. And I have these people who they're like, Betsy, if we just price it over, we can always drop it. And I go, but that's not the right idea. Because what happens is if you price it right under and all of a sudden you get in that bidding frenzy, which is great. Now I'll tell everybody, I'm not promising you that will always happen because there's other factors in it. It's got to be, the house has to be gorgeous when you walk in, light, bright, white, clean, and it's got to be in the great neighborhood and all that. But just saying, you price it right under, and you do get those multiple offers versus pricing it high and you sit even when you are that perfect house.
Right.
Because there's a lot of perfect houses and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to price it here. And you're like, oh my God, we totally missed the market. And
You never want to chase the market down. That's the problem.
People wonder why in the world was that house in the market, for 2 weeks, even 2 weeks. And this was really funny. I do have to laugh at this. The other day I had amazing offers. The first week, amazing offers. And I'm talking, I always say, I put my houses on the market on Thursday, and we all know this. And I negotiate them through the weekend, and on Sunday, great offers. And I'm talking amazing offers. I think I was up $25,000 on $400,000 house. And she goes, yeah, but it's only been on the market for 4 days, Betsy. And I went, you greedy, you have got, and that's exactly, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, right? I'm like, this was our whole goal. And she goes, yeah, but what could we get if we stay on the market longer? And I'm like, nothing.
More than likely, you're going to get less. All the statistics show that the longer you sit on the market, the lower price you get.
I said, we don't accept one of these. We're going to get list price. That's what you're going to get. Because we just got the frenzy because we did it opening weekend.
Yep.
We're not going to get the frenzy if we don't take these.
Absolutely.
That's what people don't understand. So, anyhow, thank you for joining us today. And we will see you next time.